Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Anon, your host for the next few hours. Along with Katie is here in the studio.
Oh, hello.
And Nick is with us.
Not in the studio, but also here.
Not in the studio. I need to not figure out. It's been so long since I used this thing. There is Nick.
I'm here. Good morning.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. We told you last week, last week, that Katie's going to be here today and going to be talking about VR, her experience with VR and developing and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get to that. But Nick, what's been happening this week?
It was a relatively slow week until all hell broke loose in Canada a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. No, relatively slow week, I guess. Oh, and the stuff with Twitter and Elon Musk.
Yeah,
but that all kind of happened in the last 48 hours or so.
That is very interesting, and Katie and I were talking about it here, and it almost sounds like I'm sure he's got a good reason to get out. I mean, legal reason, because they didn't want to give him.
Well, he doesn't have it doesn't matter about a legal reason. I mean, he's still on the hook for about $1 billion in contractual fees. But
we'll see how that. I mean, drop in the bucket. But
yeah.
I mean,
so for folks that are not familiar with the story, we've covered a lot, talked a lot about it over the past couple of months. Elon Musk put forward this bid. I want $45 million to purchase Twitter. It was something like $48 a share or something, $48.69 a share or something like that, that he was willing to buy Twitter at. And there's been a lot of controversy about the amount of bot activity on the platform. Twitter claims it's less than 2%. Elon Musk claims it's upwards of 20%. And apparently it all fell through Friday when he announced that he's officially dropping the deal. So the acquisition of Twitter will not happen, but their stock has been in a spiral since the news. I'm part of me is almost convinced he did this to try and just destroy Twitter, and I think he's going to be successful.
That's what I was thinking. I
really do think he's going to be successful.
Oh, well, I have to wait and see. And there was,
I mean, their stock's at when their stock was trading when it closed Friday. It closed at $36 a share, which is $12 below what he was going to buy it at. And that's a significant amount of money.
Maybe that's his goal, is to drop it, tank it, and then come back in next year.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things that's been discussed as well is, I mean, and let's be perfectly clear, I don't think Twitter's, and the biggest problem, and it all comes down to, Twitter does not have a good way to monetize their platform. Facebook has figured it out. Google has figured it out. Twitter is completely inept when it comes to advertising. And nobody has been able to turn it around. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I don't know. I've always been very weary of him. I'm not sure he's a good faith actor. I'm not sure he does all of his things in good faith.
Well, he's shrewd. There's no doubt. I mean,
yeah, but the question is like Amnon. If I say Amnon, I want to buy Delta Force from you, and I'm going to take it over.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm really just trying to stick you with it and destroy your company. That's not something that's not being done in good faith.
Well, but to be honest here, Twitter could have given him the information that he was looking for, and then he wouldn't have an excuse to say, "I'm."
Well, they did give him the information. I think that's why he's terminated the contract or terminated the deal.
His claim, from what I was reading, he claims that all this time he still didn't get the information that he was looking for that they promised him.
I thought a couple of weeks ago, they gave him some API access that would have given him the data he needed. I don't know though. I haven't really followed it a whole lot since the beginning because there's been so much nonsensical news coming out of it.
Can I give a hot take?
Yeah, hit it.
I think Twitter is going the way of Facebook, and that's not a good thing. Mostly because, so when Facebook came out, me and all my friends were on it, and it was great. And then it got taken over by corporations, all this stuff. And so we all fled, and a lot of us went to Twitter. And now Twitter is being taken over by corporations, and it's not as organic feeling. And so now all of us are like jumping ship to other platforms. And so I just don't think, I think Twitter's just going to be another Facebook 2.0 as far as like the content is just going to be not organic and generated for sales, and it's just people are going to go elsewhere.
Well, and part of this, and I guess with Facebook, I don't know how much fault was on Facebook for that. Companies found it to be really useful. But Twitter, the way that they've destroyed their home feed and all of this, they've done this themselves. I mean, this is nobody's fault but Twitter's. I use TweetDeck on the desktop so that I can get an actual real feed of what's going on, and then TweetBot on my phone. But if you're using Twitter.com or the Twitter app on your phone, you're not seeing your actual feed.
No,
you're seeing whatever
ads.
Aggregate BS they put forward.
Yeah, and I was telling Amnon this too, that like I'm like a small content creator, so I'll do art or whatever, and I try to post them on Twitter, and it just gets thrown into the void. Like I don't feel like people see it, or people like it doesn't get targeted towards the audience that I'm trying to reach or whatever. It's just trying to fight through this thing. It's almost like, what's the point of posting? Like there's just nothing. I feel like it goes nowhere, basically.
I agree, and I don't know, and I don't disagree with your comments about Facebook at all. But they've been able to turn that into a very successful business model.
Yeah,
with the businesses, with advertising and things like that. Twitter has ruined their platform, has driven it to the deep depths of hell, and they have nothing to show for it because they're not making any money. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't.
I've jumped ship to the devil program, which is TikTok. So I love TikTok.
Trump called Elon Musk a bullshit artist last night. So if that's worth anything over the whole thing, so I don't think many people are alone. I don't know what the end game is, or if there even was an end game or goal.
We'll find out. One of these days, we'll find out.
One would think, but who knows? So yeah, looks like Daddy Elon is not going to save Twitter after all. Sad day.
Hey, gal.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I hope if there's going to be audio noises or stuff, just let me know.
It's a nice Zoom background you got.
Yeah. A very nice background.
Oh.
Wow. I'm jealous. I'm going to be next to some water.
So did the internet come back?
It came back. Yeah. So we're. Did you talk about it at all?
No, we just started.
Okay. So I'm visiting a family, and they're Shomrei Shabbat. That means during Shabbat there's no activity. 5 minutes before Shabbat came in, that's when the internet showed signs of coming back. So this is practically the first time I'm using internet since it fell down.
So
Disappeared over here.
So I asked you, I asked the question, but I never. So did it affect only wireless or wired also?
No, it affects internet for a quarter of the Canadian population.
Period. I mean,
25
So no wireless and no wired.
No,
That would explain.
25%.
I
What's
was
that?
my coworker. I was working with a coworker, and he was in Toronto, and he just went radio silent, and he was like, "Oh, my internet dropped," and I was like, "Oh, no worries." He's like, "Yeah, the whole country's internet dropped," and I was like, "What?" So
Yep.
that would explain it.
Yeah, it was like out of the blue. It's not like there's no weather issue or anything like that.
Any?
It's and they haven't posted any explanation yet.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I was looking. Nothing yet.
They have the lawyers come up with reasons.
They had an issue a year ago in April. That time it affected only wireless.
Yeah.
And the excuse was an update to some Ericsson equipment. Which I mean, for a company like that, sounds like a very lame excuse. So
Yep.
I heard they're going to charge all of their customers a surcharge for the outage. They're going to charge you because of their outage because they're a great company. $10 surcharge.
I think,
outage surcharge.
I think they already posted that people will get a day's worth of internet back on their bill. But
wow.
That's not going to help anyone.
Wow, that's just phenomenal. What a customer service. We just love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're it's a big deal here. But then again,
that was Rogers, correct? Rogers is the ISP you're talking about.
Yes, Rogers, yeah. I don't know if they are the number one in size here or they're the second, but they're everywhere. It's very much like Spectrum over back in the States. So
well,
yeah,
it's fine.
The funny thing is I was setting up the network back at home there, and I was setting up a NAS, and also that NAS is acting as a DNS server. And I went to sleep at around 1:30 a.m. Like after everyone went to sleep, I finished my work. I checked, everything was working. I was really happy. Went to bed, woke up around 6:30 a.m. A bio call, nature's call, and I'm seeing an alert on my phone that I want to check, and I'm checking it, and no internet. It's like it's not connecting, and I'm saying, "Oh crap! What did I do last night that everybody's gonna wake up soon?" And so I rushed to the computer. I checked stuff for about 15 minutes, seeing I can't connect, nothing. Starting to realize it might not be the issue. I might not be the cause. And then one of the house members, he comes back down and says, "Hey, Gal, have you noticed that there's no internet?" And says, "Yeah, I noticed, and I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out why." He says, "Yeah, but there's no internet also on my cell." So I ask him, "So when you disconnect from Wi-Fi, there's no internet as well?" I says, "No." I said, "Okay, so that's not me." That's when we started realizing, and that's when I checked down the detector over here in Canada, and it went like since 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 4:54.
Okay, so now, given the fact that you traveled there from the States and you have your phone, and who's your service with?
So I'm using T-Mobile, and their roaming contracts are probably not with Rogers. They're probably with another ISP.
So it did work. Your phone, no?
Yeah, my phone worked. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
You could have get a hotspot and sold
Not
access.
really, but it worked really slow.
Oh,
But
well.
you also talked about, or at least mentioned it in our Signal chat, that this, not only was this an issue for consumers, but it also had a pretty big impact on businesses as well.
Oh yeah, like everything. So that day, on the way to this cabin, we stopped at like a very big mall on the way, and one of the reasons we went to that mall, they have like a huge Bass Pro shop, and one of the visitors from Israel, he never saw anything like that, and he was really into
Welcome to
boats
North
and
America.
fishing. Yeah, and he's really into boats and fishing, and this was like, okay, this is my Disneyland, right? This is what I want to see, and we get to the mall, and we go to the Bass Pro, which is on one end of the mall, and everything's shut down. It's closed. And there's like a tiny sign in paper saying, due to the internet being out, right? And we can't process debit and credit transaction, we are not open. So it was a very surreal situation, because the problem was not that there was an internet, because the mall itself, the Wi-Fi network worked. I was connected to the Wi-Fi there, and it worked pretty well. The problem was that the credit card transaction system, I think it's called Intersec, I think that's their name, went down as well. And it was, so the stores that were using Intersec, the entire food court was working cash only. There were stores that were closed. Other stores that, while they were open, they had signs for cash only today, right? Stuff like that. It hurt business big time, for sure.
You know what I'm hearing? It sounds like if you want to take out a country, you just have to take out their internet, and like everything just shuts down.
I would agree. Taking out the internet in such a way, if it's possible, it shouldn't be possible. That's the thing, right? The infrastructure shouldn't be this susceptible to downtime in any way. I mean, if a certain section goes down, that's fine. It shouldn't affect an entire country. So whatever they did, they messed up royally. It's like it's a big. That's why I'm really interested to hear the cause. Technically, right? Whatever they come up with, they are going to be a sham. It's going to be a shame. It's going to be shameful talking about it for them. And that's why it's interesting, because we can learn so much from this. But I don't know even I don't even know if they are a public company or a private owned. I'm guessing public, but I don't know, right? We'll see.
I don't even know if they would tell the truth, right? Because if this is like a national security thing, why would they announce what really happened? Like as soon as I said, "Oh yeah, you could take all of our internet out and nobody can function, and this is what happened. Just do this."
But that's the thing. If they're a public company, they have no choice. So,
they are a public company. Their ticker is RCI.
Yeah.
Funny enough, their stock was actually up on Friday, amazingly.
On Friday?
Yeah, it was up 2.5%.
Yeah, there probably wasn't any internet to update the downgoing.
Yeah, they couldn't sell their shares.
yeah. Nobody knew that there was no trading on the stock because the internet was down.
But you see, the way that I'm looking to learn from it and what that and that, that company, Intersec,
yeah,
whatever, That's amazing that they are working with one ISP and they don't have redundancy.
I think Intersect is owned by Rogers. I think
Interac is the name of it.
Interact.
Yeah. They might be. So Bell, which is the other large ISP here, they are also credit card processors of their own. So it might be that the Interact are just part of Rogers or something like that. But
It
yeah,
doesn't look like it is part of
No?
Rogers. It could just be. Who knows?
Yeah, I know that would be like disaster in my
I'm
eyes.
reading because they tweeted about it and said due to continued nationwide Roger outages, Interac debit and Interac e-transfer continue to be unavailable.
Yeah.
So it doesn't appear that it was all of their services because they have more than those two services.
Right.
They've got a shared cash deposit system, a direct payment system, and stuff like that were up. So maybe it was just those platforms.
But
I agree with you. I mean, that's still a huge problem.
Yeah.
Gal, you posted that they were saying that they don't take big bills cash.
Oh, that was specific one store, the Starbucks.
Oh.
Because we're out of cash, right? They couldn't deal with 50s and 20s either.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean? Isn't a large macchiato like $48 over at Starbucks? I mean, they should be able to deal with. They should be able to deal with that.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe they had some system to check the validity of the bills, which didn't work. I don't know. It's but
it was a fiasco, no matter what, and
it
probably
was a total fiasco.
And people are probably going to see a lot more of the residual effect for days to come. It just
look, for sure, people are going to be pissed. It was a weekend, so any merchant working on a Friday, right, is expecting some sort of income coming from that day.
Yeah.
And seeing less than 10%, then it hurt. It hurt a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Well,
Now,
for
I'm just
small
thinking
business,
of those who work from home, right? Terrible.
Yeah. Any way you look at it, it's yeah.
This is a good opportunity for small business, even here in the United States, to sign up and get Square accounts or something else that you can connect to your phone to do transactions. No, that's not, for a big like a department store, that's not relevant, but for small business, Venmo and stuff like that too.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to be a pain on your accountant on the backside, but it's better than not making any money for 36 hours or whatever.
This too shall pass. All right.
But we have more important things to talk about, right? We
have
a guest.
We have a subject matter expert.
I don't know if I'd say expert.
No, I wouldn't.
So, Katie.
Yes.
You mentioned a few weeks ago that you were doing. You mentioned the word VR.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the first time. Those of you that don't know Katie, Katie is an motion graphics designer. Katie went to school to be an animator.
Yeah.
She wanted to get into animation.
Yeah.
And she did. And for those of you who don't know, like the intro to Computers 2.0, Katie did.
Yeah. Which is like 10 years old. So
Katie did.
Yeah. So it definitely needs to be updated.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah. So, I mean, I can give a little intro. Yeah, motion graphic designer. And what that means is that I do anything that is graphics that move, which is kind of like duh, but that includes like video and like the lower thirds that I animate on. But my career, so I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, which is SCAD in Savannah. Excellent school. Loved it. Too expensive, though, because it's a very expensive private school, but it was great. And then I worked in the sport entertainment industry for almost 8 years. So doing TV graphics, stadium graphics, and all that kind of stuff. And now I work in the tech consulting industry. So I work for a company that basically does custom solutions with Microsoft stuff. And they need a lot of videos and a lot of graphics, and it's been really cool. So at the beginning of this year, I decided, so all of my stuff, I use the Adobe software for editing graphics. So like After Effects and Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, I need to learn something that'd be cool and cutting edge and new. Well, I guess it's not really new, but is Unity, which is a video game software engine. And my background, I'm a designer, I'm not a programmer, so it was always kind of intimidating to learn these kind of video game software stuff because it's very technical. But I was like, I'm going to do it. So Unity offers free courses online for training. So I took their junior programming class thing, and it was really great. I haven't finished it yet. But partway through it, Microsoft announced that they were going to do a hackathon. They released this VR toolkit called, why am I blanking? MRTK, Mixed Reality Toolkit. And they released a new version of it, and it works with Unity. And so basically you can open up Unity and you can make a project in Unity, and then the toolkit helps you transfer it to VR. Like it gives you like the VR components or whatever. And I was like, sure, I'll enter this. Have I ever made a video game before? No. Have I ever really used VR? Not really, but let's do it. So for 3 weeks I made, I hunkered down and I made a VR game. So, and I entered it in, and it was due on Friday. So I turned that in, and that was a lot of fun. So I brought my VR headset. But that's an Oculus Quest 2 for those that are interested in getting into VR. That's the affordable system. So $300. Everything else is like $1,000 plus. So I was like, not gonna do that.
That's the gateway drug.
Yeah. It's funny because the MRTK toolkit was developed for the HoloLens. And the HoloLens, just to get that, is like $2,500 for the dev kit or whatever. And I was like, how are people supposed to develop for it, like as like a hobby, if you need to spend like over $2,000 to get the headset, like the thing that you use the thing on? But luckily, with Unity, one of the great things about Unity is that you can build to multiple systems. So even though I built the project in Unity and it uses the Microsoft HoloLens toolkit, I could export it for the Oculus, so it works on the Oculus. So that's how I was able to test it and stuff. So that was pretty nice. I guess that's what the whole point of the toolkit is, that they make it so that other people can develop it for different headsets.
Yeah. We have a simple sample of what Katie is talking about. Can I go for it?
Yeah. Play it. So the game I made is called Rhythm Fire. And if people are familiar with Beat Saber, it's a VR game with music. So this is kind of like Beat Saber, but with guns. Well, not really guns, but you like shoot projectiles. In this case, it's little fireworks. So you play a song, and the song at the beats trigger these targets that spawn, and then you as the user, the player, hits the targets. And I was going for like a very chill, fun vibe. So this is playing a song, and it's like pew pew pew, and you hit the targets, and you try to hit them all and get a good score. This is actually Unity software, so this is the game in Unity. If anybody's familiar with 3D software, it's very similar. You have your area that right now when I'm like scrolling through or moving around is the 3D space where the objects are populated, and then on the right side are the assets. And you can apply little code snippets to the assets. So those are like little buttons. So when you click on the buttons, you can assign it a code that says, if a user clicks this, then this happens, kind of thing. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It was a big learning curve, especially for somebody like me that hasn't done any like technical stuff. But I have messed with 3D software before, so it was just kind of learning the programming and technical aspects. But Unity is great because a lot of people contribute to it, where you can like buy assets. So, you spend $20 and somebody's already made all this stuff for you, and I just had to figure out how to incorporate it and customize it for my project. But yeah, no, it was great. And I was really excited to get it done and actually make something. And it works. Yes, it had a ton of bugs, but at the end of the day, I got it to work, so that was exciting.
and you felt like it was finished enough to
Yeah.
enter it into it and
Yep.
say, here it is.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
There's a main menu, which is what this is, and then there's the individual scene files for each song, and you can go in between the files. So for like in between the scenes. So for me, that defines the bare bones of a game. There's no exit button, so I gotta add that. So it's not 100% complete yet, but at least you could go from the menu screen to the song screen and then back to the menu screen. And the bare bones, that's it. This is a little show snippet of the code. This line is what gets the controller system. So I get the controller system when you push the trigger button on the controller for the VR headset, and it gets that information and it plugs it into Unity, and then that's how it knows where to fire the projectile. So when you pushed it down, and it's like, oh, I'm going to send a firework in that direction. So that's how it grabs the code. And this is C#. I don't know if anybody knows programming language, but Unity is built with C#.
And you did take some programming. I mean, on your own.
Yeah, everything I've done is self-learning. Like I said, as far as like the C# stuff for Unity, I've only taken the Unity junior programming course, and I didn't even, like I said, I haven't even finished it yet because I was like, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through it, and then this project started. Or they announced the hackathon, so I was like, I gotta get on this.
Yeah. Well, it's fine.
Cool.
Is this going to be available to
Yes.
download?
Yeah. So everything is a new learning experience. I literally got a VR headset just to play Beat Saber. So that's that is the only thing I've used my headset for. And so it was really funny. I had to figure out all this stuff, like how to get my headset to like plug into my computer, because when you develop for it, you essentially turn your headset into like another window screen, I guess.
A display,
yeah. So you plug it into your machine and Unity will launch on your machine. So now I have to figure out how to get the game file so other people's headsets can access it. And there's a application called SideQuest. And I have made a SideQuest account yesterday, actually. And I think what it is, what I understand it to be, is where anybody that has a headset, I don't know if it's just Oculus. So far, I've only used the Oculus, so I don't know if like other people with Vive or whatever can use it. But
SideQuest is focused on Oculus.
Oh, it is? Okay. So if you have an Oculus, you can go and make an account, and you can download other people's games to your Oculus, so you can play it offline. So I made a developer account on there yesterday, so I'm going to put the game on there so other people can play it. So far, it's just been me playing it, so as far as I know, it's great, but it could be hot garbage. So
you better text me when you get this on SideQuest, because I love, there's so many cool little games. That's almost I bought one game, which was Beat Sabers. Everything else I played has been on SideQuest.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to do today, is actually I'm going to go, because I was able to build the game yesterday out of Unity and put it on my headset, which was a huge accomplishment, because Unity you can play just about anything, no matter how many issues or coding issues you have in your thing. Generally, you can just like it's fine. But to build it and actually get it on your machine, I had so many like troubleshooting issues. I ended up just like deleting a bunch of stuff, and I was like, this doesn't work. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to fix it, so I'm just gonna delete you. and then it did work. It built the file, and it's on my VR headset. So we're just not gonna ask any questions. It just works, and that's all that matters.
How did you get it on the headset once you exported it as a file?
Yeah, it's actually super easy. So first of all, I found everything on how to do everything I found on YouTube. So in Unity, and I'm sure it's the same with Unreal and everything like that, when you build, you can build whatever you want in Unity, and then when it comes to the project settings, to how you like build it out, so you make the game, and then you have to build it out into a file that headsets or consoles or whatever can read, and it has different options you can choose. So for the VR Quest, or for the Quest specifically, you build it out through an Android application. So when you go into the build settings and before you say export or whatever, you say, okay, I want this to be on the Android. And so then it loads all of the Android settings into Unity. And then you go through and you set everything. And in this case, I had to optimize it for the Oculus. And again, all of this information is on YouTube. I just followed this like dude that was like, this is how you do it. And I just went down his suggestions. But you could also build out this game for like the PS4 or the PS5 and just set those settings in Unity when you export it. So when you export it, it just comes out with this nice, in this case, VR file, which I guess is a Quest file. I don't know. I haven't built for anything else. And it's the same file that you upload to SideQuest. And so when you do it through Unity, it will export the game straight to your Oculus if you have it plugged into your computer. It will build to it. But it also builds on your computer. So on your computer in your files, it'll have a build file. And that build file is what you send to websites that other people can download and then play the game on their Oculus. So
now Oculus is unique in that ecosystem because it allows, it at least still allows, we don't know if that'll stay forever, but it allows what's called unknown sources.
Oh, yes, yes.
Like with an Android. So it's not closed. Let's say you want to develop this for a PS4 or a PS5, then you need developer access to a console, which is very, very, very expensive.
Yes.
So yeah, Oculus is really, really approachable that way from the development side and from the usage side.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, you're totally right. I didn't even think about that because it was so easy. So when you get your Oculus and you want to develop for it, you have to on the phone. So I don't know if when you get an Oculus, you have to download software on your computer as like an account or whatever that you set up. And on that account and on your computer, on the application, you set it to dev mode. And that's all you have to do, switch it to dev mode. And it's just like a little slider. And then on the phone, I also switched it to dev mode on my phone. Again, it's just like an Oculus app and it just keeps track of what your purchases and blah, blah, blah for your Oculus. So you switch everything to dev mode. Oh, and then on your headset, again, you go into settings and just click a button in dev mode. And then you're right, you can download and put stuff on it. I didn't realize that the other consoles would be hard to get the development for, but that does make sense now that I think about it. Because I've only this is my only Unity project.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if it'll be hard so much as it'll be expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I've only exported for the PC and then for the Oculus.
Yeah.
Talking about Facebook and Oculus and VR, there's a story here about Facebook, Meta. Despite the name change and metaverse hyperbole, Facebook has always been at the center of the Meta suite of software for users engaging with its wider ecosystem. While that may continue to be the case indefinitely, it's clear the company is taking steps to ensure that its next swath of users aren't tied to a network that may still pay the bills, but isn't where the company sees its reinvention. Next month, the company will be introducing a new type of login called a Meta account that will allow users to engage with products that previously might have required a Facebook account to use. At launch, users will be able to use their Meta account to sign up for and log into the company's Quest hardware, functionality that will come to other Meta devices in the future. You say what?
I'm laughing. It's continue. Let's talk about it while you.
Users can choose to link their Meta account to their Facebook and Instagram accounts as well, or not. Unlike Facebook accounts, users are free to have multiple Meta accounts, the company says. This change addresses the concerns of some VR users who complained about various quirks of relying on a private social media profile login to play video games.
Yep.
While plenty of users were concerned by privacy implications, others were frustrated by more organizational issues related to combining the two accounts with separate friend lists, settings, and rules. By the beginning of next year, Meta accounts will be the standard logging for VR users. So, I know that, Gal, you always said, and Nick, that people need to have a separate account, a Facebook account for VR, for
Right.
Quest.
But as you probably mentioned, you noticed you mentioned it, but it's something that people miss. Per the end user license with Facebook, you are not allowed to have multiple accounts. Right? So legally, that is not an option. The thing is, at the beginning with Oculus, right? It was developed by so Oculus was this development by a rather small company, right? And Facebook bought them and incorporate them into their ecosystem. And at the start, even though most of the development was done under the Facebook umbrella, at the start they had their own login system, Oculus accounts, and then Facebook had the brilliant idea of, oh no, why should we have multiple accounts? We should have all of our users using the same system, right? They should all be connected to Facebook. I mean, that's one of the reasons we bought Oculus. We want more users from different aspects of usage. And so that created the uproar, but they already rolled it out, right? So you migrated your Oculus account to a Facebook account. That's when I started saying, make sure you use a dedicated account for your Oculus purchases, because one of the biggest things you want to be able to do is to close a Facebook account if you don't like their dealings or anything, because they contain your personal information. The only way of taking down legally with protection by regulation and all that is to delete the account. And so, but as I said, the end user license is not really in compliance with that. Now they're going to provide that, which is interesting. They're also going to allow to link it, which is interesting in a way, not very interesting. I mean, it's expected. It's just, I wonder what will happen to all of the users who are already linked with a Facebook account. Will they allow those accounts, right, to migrate to something that isn't connected to Facebook? That'll be interesting. I'm guessing it won't be easy. I'm guessing they won't be so forthcoming, and I'm guessing you'll see a decline in Facebook user counts once they allow this, which is what most of the users who are using Facebook accounts because they're using something other than Facebook. Let's say I want a messenger account without a Facebook account. Can I get that? Right, etc. So,
No?
Well,
yeah,
my big question
it
is
smells like Google Plus all over again.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
My big question, you bring up the great point, Gal, is you're not supposed to have more than one Facebook account, but you don't want to link your Facebook account to your
Right.
Meta account or your Oculus account, because if you're somebody like me that works in the realm of politics and is obviously sharing and posting political things for work, you get your account banned from Facebook, and now you can't use your freaking VR headset. So,
yeah, that's a good point.
And that's a serious concern for folks that are in the sphere that I'm in. So I have a friend of mine, I should say, that created a Facebook account that I use, who didn't have a Facebook account already. Actually, my cat has a Facebook account that I use to play, use for my Quest. And I haven't bought anything on my account yet, so I guess I'm not going to, and I'm going to wait until they roll out this new, account structure and then make a new account, I guess, and go from there.
Yeah.
And there's interesting. So at work, we were talking about developing for VR space, and one of the things that was brought up is, so Oculus is quote unquote the affordable option as far as it's the cheapest headset for people to use. And so as a business standpoint, if a company is going to offer VR as a solution for something, then this is probably the thing that the users are going to use, right? So but does that mean that if you develop this for a business, for a consumer, does the consumer have to have a Facebook account in order to use it? And this, well, yeah, they do, because you have to have a Facebook. But as a business, so like, okay, well, here's this solution, and we built this cool thing that our customers can use. Oh, by the way, log in with Facebook. It's a big turnoff. So
agreed. That's exactly what happened to the company I worked for.
Yeah.
I up until June, I worked for a company, and in February, they did a virtual company meet, and they sent everyone an Oculus headset.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to join the company meet, every single person, even if they'd never had a Facebook account before, needed to create a Facebook account, and they needed literally to do training of, this is how you set up your Oculus with a new Facebook account, etc. And that's when we started sharing internally. Like I started sharing, don't use your personal Facebook account for it. Create something, right? I'm guessing most people use their personal Facebook account, which is sad in a way, because they do not understand the system. They do not understand what it means to tie everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And two, it gets your company, or gets whoever company you're working with, like, that much closer to you. Like, you're giving them your personal information. I feel like that's too close. Everything, I have a Facebook just because, to use the Oculus or whatever, but I do not use it. Like, it is under lock and key, it is private. Like, that I really only upload photos to it because my family members will use it, but that's about it. It's like I don't like how so many companies can access it, and so many things can like look at stuff. It's very invasive. So
is that why you won't accept my friend request?
Yeah, totally, 100%. Actually, you know what? I only log into Facebook once every 6 months, so I'm sure I totally forgot or didn't see it or something.
Now, because you're on the developer side of it, Katie, from the developer side, is there anything different that you have to do with Facebook or Meta or whatever the accounts are than I do as just the end user? Is there anything different you had to do?
No, in fact, I had to log into my own Facebook account, like, to access it and stuff. This is what I think. And granted, I'm not like a super technical person, but I feel where the success has been with like Teams and Microsoft. So when I log into Teams or when I log into the Windows stuff, I use my work email, but the work email is at the company name. So I wonder if Meta's going to do that too, where you can you can use your company email to log into their system.
For sure.
And that is super professional, and that works because when I'm logging into my work mode, I'm using my work account, I'm using my work email, everything is like geared professionally. So I have like Katie personal and Katie professional, and I want to log in with my professional account. And right now you can't do that with the Oculus. And I don't know if when they make their own Meta accounts, because I got the email too that they're going to launch that in August, if that's just going to be another login, or if they're going to incorporate it, or they're getting ready to build it out so that businesses can make their own account, like at whatever business, and then they can push that to customers and be like, okay, here's your login information, and it works within the business ecosystem.
So I don't know either, but I'm gonna guess that completely they're gonna tie it with single sign-on, and not only that, they already have, right? They already offer a business offering. I think it's called Meta Spaces, or virtual spaces, or something like that, where you can create a virtual meeting room and meet together, right? So it's definitely geared there, definitely.
Now,
and that's what I mean. They're just following suit on Google and Microsoft, as you said, who are offering these services already. Amazon.
All right. So, but let's look at it really. VR is an interactive situation. You're not just watching movies. Now,
That's not inherently true. You can. I mean, that's the cool thing about VR is you can do whatever you want with it.
no, I understand, but it's in the thing is, it's the thing about it is it's interactive. You play games with other people and stuff like. Now,
You can, yes.
you cannot use Zoom unless you have a Zoom account. And the reason for, I would think, for the Zoom and for other such devices is you are actually using their server to interact, for the program to interact with another device. To have such a server sitting at a company headquarters that will connect 1,000 people or 2,000 people together, that's almost unheard of. You need a lot of power. So you are taking advantage of the server that the company is providing you, be it Zoom, be it Facebook, any company that uses that. I mean, again, we are not really, I mean, the show interactive. I mean, the audience is watching us. The only thing interactive will be the chat. So,
Okay.
but still, it is cost prohibitive for me to set up a server that would allow thousands of people to come in and watch it. It will cost a fortune. So we're using YouTube, we're using Facebook, we're using Twitch, because there they have those powerhouses that a bunch of people can connect. And in order to do it, I have to have a YouTube account. I have to have a Facebook account, because
I think you're missing it, Am. The point is, I don't have a problem having a Meta account.
Right.
I have a problem linking and using a personal Facebook account.
Absolutely,
where Facebook
yeah.
has proven
Yeah.
over the last 5 or 6 years that they will just indiscriminately ban your account. So let's be clear with this. You know, as Katie mentioned, that this is, you know, the cheap way to get into VR, and it is the cheap way, but it's still, how much does it cost to get into it, Katie? 300, 350
Oh
bucks?
yeah, to get the console was 300.
Yeah, so you've invested $300 base, including any other sort of gadgets. I've got the extender headset thing or whatever. I've got the Anchor dock. I've got the headphones, the Pro headphones or whatever you connect to it. All right, so I got $500 invested in this system. Games are between 20 and 60 bucks. So I've got, you know, $800-900 invested in this platform, and then I post some, you know, Trump meme on Facebook, and I get my account banned, and I lose access to $1,000 worth of stuff.
Right.
That's
that
ridiculous.
doesn't make sense. I agree.
But that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a huge problem. I don't care about creating an account. I mean, gee, you have to have an account for everything. But I don't know why it has to be linked to. Well, and I know why, because originally Facebook thought they were going to use Facebook for everything, and now Zuckerberg is realizing that's a terrible idea for his Meta platform. He was on Mad Money with Jim Cramer a couple of weeks ago. And if you're interested in VR and the whole Meta stuff, go on YouTube and see if you can find Mark Zuckerberg on Mad Money with Jim Cramer. It was a very interesting interview.
All right. Yeah, there was another story, something I didn't think I sent it to you, Nick. There was something about PlayStation are deleting movies that people purchased.
Oh yeah.
Something like
They lost some contract with
Yeah.
the content provider, and they're removing it from their libraries. And it means that even if you purchase this happened with Apple a long time ago as well. So
Let's.
even
I
if
tell you
you
what. I tell you what. Let's bring it up I want to let Nick do the specials. It's time, and then we'll talk
we
about
might as well
it.
just cover it. We're
Okay,
just,
go ahead.
It only take a few. It
All
only
right,
take a
that's
couple
fine.
of
Go
minutes.
ahead.
Go ahead, Gal.
So the process is you go to an online streaming service that either rents or allows you to purchase content, and you purchase the rights through to play it. Let's say, in this case, a movie from the Sony library. Sony now has lost. There's some trouble in the relationship. I don't remember with which content provider, right? And they're removing that content from the library, and that means that even though I might have purchased that movie and I have the rights associated with it, I will no longer have access to it, just because Sony had some quarrel with some content provider. It just shines a light on how streaming DRM is basically a sham. It's a reverse pirating scheme, basically, right? Because
what it really comes down to is poor contracts on Sony's behalf. Now, what you could have done if you're Sony is write the contract in a way in which, after a certain period of time, you lose the rights to sell the content, but it is still available for people that have purchased it. That's not unheard of. That's not uncommon. But they wrote these contracts as to this extent of, when the contract is over with, even if you are the rightful owner of it, you no longer have access, which is just I cannot believe Sony would write a contract that poorly. Because I mean, this is, as you mentioned, Gal, this happened early on with iTunes and everything before they knew how to write the contracts correctly. Now you can have movies on your iTunes account that are no longer available to purchase in the store, but because you purchased them when they were available, you still have them. It's just terrible contract writing on Sony's behalf.
And I'm guessing,
are they giving you your money back?
No.
Nope.
I don't. That's crazy to me.
Not only that, is you're probably the content is going to disappear completely from your account, right? Without any trace. So it's like, yeah, the recommendation people online are giving is take a screenshot of the content in your account, take a screenshot of the order number, and create an evidence track of that, and then go torrent it somewhere. At least if you ever get into a legal quarrel, right, you have the right of ownership, and was the only way you could have gotten a backup copy. It is not to say that this is legal, but it also means that it probably isn't suable. So there are some precedents where judges just dismiss the case in a situation like that, when a company just no longer provided access to the content. Again, it's not that it somehow turns piracy, content piracy, into legal stuff, but it is like sort of a safety net that you might be able to use. Actually, after specials, we should talk about what's happening with Internet Archive.
Sure.
Which is really similar in a way. What's going on there?
I want to add before you go to specials is I don't buy digital copies of things online just for this reason, because if you buy something from whatever website or whatever is a digital, it is tied to that account, right? So if that company goes down or if they get disconnected, you don't have access to the content you bought, right?
That's
so like
correct.
Especially with DVDs and movies. So I still buy DVDs and Blu-rays, and then it says, here's a download link if you want to download it. Like, so then if I ever lose power, or if I ever lose, or not power, but losing my internet, like in the Canada, I could still watch my movies. Like, it's great to have digital copies, but when it gets tied to that company and you can't download it, like if you could buy it off of YouTube and then download it to your computer, then that would be great. I don't know if you can do that because I don't do it, but like to get it tied up into one company, when they're gone, the stuff you just wasted money. It's gone.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that's been the big debate for years with Steam, Katie, is, God forbid one day Steam just gets up and vanishes.
You know what? Don't
There
talk
goes-
about it because I didn't even think about that, and I've got way too
Every
much
single
money into
video game you
Steam.
own is gone.
You're right. You're right. Don't. Oh, I know
Yeah.
I'm triggered.
Isn't that crazy? But
Yeah.
but no, it is a very interesting.
GOG for life.
Yeah, I agree. GOG. Yeah, I'm all in on GOG. It's true.
All right. So, Nick, are you ready for specials?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so we got a couple of Rogers memes here to get it started off. We've got a family from the early 1900s on their homestead, which were looking like Rogers customers over the weekend. And then we've got a gentleman who is a Rogers employee solving the internet issue as he stands with hands on his hips, staring into the back of some sort of rack or server cabinet, quickly fixing the issue. And then finally, as I know a lot of folks are familiar with the Rogers Center, it's now been renamed to the Error 404 Center. I believe that's in Toronto where the Rogers Center is. So, all right, let's move on to specials here this morning. Tough week. There's not a single computer in here. There is nothing on sale that is makes any sense for a special this week. So it's a kind of an eclectic mix. But let's start it off with televisions, where there's a couple of good deals. I actually saw this in person yesterday. I was over at Walmart picking up some things and walked through the tech section. This is the ONN brand, which is Walmart's in-house brand. This is not like like Westinghouse or any of these. This is Walmart's brand, and they have also coined a partnership, as many other brands have, with Roku. So here's an on-brand Roku TV. It's a 4K UHD. It supports HDR10 as well, 2160p. It's an LED smart TV, 58 inches for $288. This is normally $378. So you're saving about $100 or so bucks, $90 on this, and it's available at Walmart. It is available in some stores, not others, but you can order it online, and that is over at Walmart. If maybe you're not a fan of Roku TV and want something a little bit more, how should I say it? A little
prestigious.
No, not prestigious. A little bit more hacky. Open. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Maybe you want an Android TV so you could sideload some apps or do some things. Here's a Philips, a little bit smaller, 55-inch Android TV. This is a 4K UHD television with the Google Assistant and Android TV built in, so you could potentially sideload some apps to get access to things that you might not have access to. This is normally $348. It's on sale for $298, so you save $50 on that over at Walmart, depending on what kind of platform you're looking for. And if you have a television or you're looking to maybe make a TV smart, these go on sale every once in a while. Don't ever buy, unless you need to, don't ever buy a Roku at full price if you can wait. Here's the Roku streaming stick. This is their 4K stick. This is a little bit better than the, they've got so many of these now, it's a little bit confusing. This is better than the Express. This is their more high-end device. It's still a US or an HDMI stick, so a single unit. And this is supporting 4K. It supports HDR and Dolby Vision, and it's got the Roku remote with the voice controls on it. So you can go ahead and pick this up. Normally $50. You'll get it for $29 over at Amazon and a whole bunch of other retailers too. It's in store at Walmart, Target, and Best Buy for this price as well.
So Nick, can you buy this and just use the remote for yours for the Ultra?
Yeah, you could. I already bought a new remote though.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Which pisses me off beyond belief.
Oh, well.
Nevertheless, let's. We talk a lot about, maybe you're a little pissed off with Sony and their DMR. Maybe you want to roll your own media. Well, here is a way that you can do it for a beginner, I'll say, or somebody that's not looking to get into something as advanced as Gal and I talk about with having a computer set up and Docker and all these different things. Well, here's a QNAP 4-bay NAS enclosure over at B&H Photo. And they've got 3 different variants, a 2-bay, a 4-bay, and a 6-bay, depending on what exactly you're looking for. It does not come populated with hard drives. You'll have to get those yourself. This is the 4 gig model. It's $439. You save $110 on it. The 2 bay, which is just 2 drives, is $349. You save $70 on that. And you can get the big boy, the 6 bay, for $559. Save $140 on that. So if you're looking to maybe jump into Plex or something like that, QNAP has always, and God, unless you've heard anything as of late, they've always been good middle of the run NASs to buy. They support apps and things like that on it. It does have 2.5 gig Ethernet, which is pretty interesting. So pretty fast connection to your network as well.
Awesome.
You could check that out over at, yeah.
That's just the drive bay, right?
Correct. No drives.
But 4 bays. 4 bays means you can set up a very reliable storage solution.
Yeah, you could have essentially two parity drives in there, and
yeah.
You know, unless you have a fire or a flood, your data is pretty much secure.
Yeah.
And that's also, I think it's the same price over on Amazon and a couple of other retailers as well. So take a look at that. For the next one, I'm going to turn it over to Amnon for this Microsoft Office Professional 2021 license. Amnon, what is this?
I just came across a story yesterday. This is coming from Popular Science. The story was, you know, if you wanted to have Office, even they were going that even though there are free offerings of Office like the LibreOffice and Open, people still want to have Microsoft Office, but it's expensive. So if you want to, now you can get Microsoft Office Professional 2021 lifetime license. Now, it's not just for Windows. They have a Windows and they have a Mac. They're either or. You can't. It's not the same one for both. But if you want the Mac, you need to go and go to Popular Science, and you probably see it, and you can get the one for a Mac. And actually, I think if you go to that page, you can check that you want the Mac.
You can check. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's $39.99. That's it. It's lifetime license. It's lifetime updates.
And it's not a subscription, because everything nowadays is subscription.
Now, the thing is, at the very end, I mean, when you go through it, because I bought HANA one and got the instructions. I didn't get the license yet, the key, but it says something to go on to Microsoft. They give you the link. And
you have to redeem it on a Microsoft account. You're not going to get a product code that you will activate with Word. You will have to have a Microsoft account,
right?
Redeem it on Microsoft and then log into Word with your Microsoft account. So this is not one of these secondhand codes that get put up and you have to use the Microsoft phone activator to reactivate it. Right. This is a real Microsoft renewed account.
Now, the thing is, like what Katie was just saying, it's not a subscription. But at the end of the instruction, it says, do this and do that and do this. And now you have a subscription to Microsoft Office. So I thought that it's a standalone.
Mm.
It is, but you still need an account.
Still need an account. So
correct.
That's unbelievable. For $40, people that are, I mean, I know quite a few people that don't want to go and get a key from some of those places that sell it for $15 and $25, which is may not be absolutely legal, but it's legal. It's legal key. It's just that the way you get it,
it's not a legal key. It's a key that works.
No, it's a legal key. The way that when I looked into it, the way that it happens is a lot of dealers out around the country, around the world, when they sell Office or when they sell computers with Windows 10, they have, in order to get the break, they have to sell so many every month. If they don't, they lose their contract with Microsoft or whatever. So a lot of them, at the end of the month, if they didn't sell everything, they sell these keys to some of these aggregators, to call them. And these people go and they up it, they mark it up, and they sell it to you for cheaper than you can get it anywhere else. So it's legal keys. It's illegal the way that you are buying it. Let's put it this way.
I have another question. Is this tied to your Windows or Microsoft account, or is it tied to your computer? So if I get a
It's-
new computer, can
It's
I
tied
still install?
to you. It's tied into your Microsoft account. You have to go into your Microsoft account and get
But
it.
you can create a separate account just for this.
Okay,
you
cool.
can, yeah,
So I can
Yeah.
use it on any computer. is what I'm saying.
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Katie, think of this as the equivalent of when you log into your work email address and get access to all your apps.
Nice. This
That
is
would be the.
this
would
is
be the
great. This
equivalent.
is like how they used to do software, where you pay one fee, you get everything, and you can put it on whatever you want.
Yeah, and well,
Yeah, they still do it. They still do it, but the markup, the regular markup, is around $350 for the pro version. So
Ugh.
Yeah, which is
yeah, it
this
says
is a
here
30
it's
this is a
$340.
$40 sale, which
Yep.
is great.
Absolutely.
You should get a commission, Amnon.
Uh,
This,
Yeah,
by the way, this ends in 6 days.
Yes, that's the other thing.
recording.
it's only good through this coming Thursday.
Okay, so,
So-
now we know why Rogers went down. Everybody were rushing and they just couldn't handle this.
I think this actually came out, and I can't say.
Thursday is the 14th, by the way. Just in case somebody is watching this and they're like, what day is it? That's the 14th.
Yeah, it's a deal. There's no doubt about it. 'Cause
Now,
one-
but hold on, I want to say something. So
Yeah.
when did you buy this?
last night,
And you didn't get your key yet?
no, they said it'll take 1 or 2 days to get the key from
Hmm.
Microsoft. You're going to get the key from Microsoft.
That's weird.
Interesting. Okay.
Why
Well,
does it take so long?
Hopefully,
I don't know.
hopefully you'll have an update on that next week.
Yeah.
All right. Link in the specials document on the sidebar. All right. Moving on to our last normal product. It's a refurb, so take that for what it's worth. But if you are looking for a what is the word I'm looking for? A color laser printer. This is a pretty good price for this, and Canon makes great printers. This is their Image Class Multifunction 641CW, so it is wireless. It's a refurb. These things are normally about $230, $240, $250 is what I found them online. But you can get this refurbished model. It does not come with any toner, so no sample toner because it is a refurb.
Mhm.
You can get it for $160 over at Walmart. Not available in store. You can pick it up, but according to this, my page on Walmart says free shipping arrives by tomorrow. So I don't know where the hell these things are located,
Wow.
but presumably I could get it tomorrow.
How much would a toner kit cost? for
So
something like
I was looking at this. You can get the non-name brand toners on Amazon or eBay for about $40. So for $200, you've got a super high end. And by the way, I forgot to mention, this is more than just like a printer. It's also a scanner as well, and a
Mhm.
copier. So you can do multiple things with it. I am really tempted to pick this up. I just don't have room for it in my closet. So for $200, you can get a really nice. You get $200 unless you drop it or break it or there's a huge mechanical error. You'll never have to buy another printer. I mean, these things will just run forever.
Did you?
Yeah. A laser toner is enticing. It's I use inkjet right now, and I know that if I won't use the printer for a long time, right,
Mhm.
then I'm looking at trouble. This is interesting.
Yeah,
I've got a Brother black and white laser, which I bought at a garage sale for $5 probably 10 years ago. Actually, probably more than 10 years ago, and it's been great. So it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but in terms of laser color laser printers, pretty good price. 200 or so bucks will get you up and running.
absolutely.
It's over at Walmart, and if you want to buy it new, it looks like now they've got them in stock at Walmart for $229 new. So if you're a little hesitant about the used
Is this?
one, and you want,
Do
to
you know?
spend-
Is this refurbished by Canon or is it refurbished by Walmart?
No, it's got to be refurbished by Canon. I don't
Yeah,
think-
so
no.
I would rather buy a refurbished that know that somebody actually went through it, and it's not
Yeah.
just machine assembled. Yeah,
So you can check that out. It's over at Walmart. All right. So again, as I mentioned, it's an odd week for specials. There was very little tech things. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of random things off of Slick Deals that look pretty neat. So let's start off with this. Here's an interesting thing. They call this a portable refrigerator. It looks like a cooler,
Yeah, I was about to say,
but
it's not
it
a
has
cooler.
got a full compressor in it.
Yep.
And you can plug it in via a regular 120 volt outlet like you plug into the wall, or you can connect it through a cigarette lighter adapter. So it's a portable refrigerator, 20 quart, 12 volt freezer. It'll hold, I believe,
That's
where were
one,
the specs?
two,
It'll hold
three,
20 cans like a soda or a beer can. It'll hold 15 water bottles and 4 2-liter bottles, so like large soda bottles. Apparently, it'll keep ice cream frozen. You can put frozen vegetables and fruits and stuff in there. It'll hold that stuff apparently for about 5 hours. And it will it'll run for about 5 hours with a portable power station that you can get alongside with it, or you could just plug it into a car, and it'll also keep your stuff relatively insulated. So you can check that out for $175, but make sure you click the link in the specials because there's a promo code. It's $250 on Amazon. You have to put in the promo code on Slick Deals. That you'll find that link in specials. Moving on, this is a phenomenal deal for a keyboard. This is the number one best-selling mechanical gaming keyboard on Amazon. This thing is normally $130. I don't know why it's for sale, and I don't know why it's so cheap, but it's the EVGA Z15 RGB gaming keyboard. It's got hot swappable silver switches. So not the keycap. It's more than just the keycaps being swappable. You can actually swap the underlying switches. So if you are wanting a different switch, maybe you're not a fan of the silver switches and you want reds or blues or browns, you can swap those out and kind of play around with this. I guess you could call this a modular keyboard for all intents and purposes. It's normally $129. You can get it for $34, 73% off over on Amazon. I'm gonna probably pick this up as a spare.
I know what I'm buying.
So cheap. It's pretty hard to beat, and EVGA makes great stuff. And a couple of their mouses and other peripherals are on sale as well. So if you're interested in something else from EVGA, a keyboard or a mouse or something, you can check that out. Next up is a cool little Energizer little lantern, I guess you'd call it. It's a 350 lumen battery-powered camping lantern. I bought something very similar to this at Harbor Freight this week. And this is an Energizer one that you can get. It's normally $14.99, so $15 over at Amazon. But if you go to the Amazon website, you can click there's a coupon on the page. You click it, and it drops the price down to $7.10. It runs on 3 AA batteries that are not included with it, so you'll have to get those or just wait a little bit here on the specials, and we'll get to a battery deal. Apparently it'll run for 20 hours at its highest light output. It's got 2 light modes, so a super bright and then a long one. And it's also shatterproof and IPX4 water resistant. So you can leave it at, you don't want to submerge it, but if it rains or gets a little wet, it's not going to short circuit and explode. So you can check that out over at Amazon. Next up is a portable power station. This will go well along with your fridge if you're buying that. And this is over at Woot, which is a subsidiary of Amazon. It's a 622 watt hour. It'll produce 600 watts peak of power. It's got a couple of different options for charging. You can connect it via a barrel connector to a 120 volt outlet. You can charge it from your car, or you could also charge it from a solar panel, which is pretty cool. It offers a 12 volt car outlet that cigarette lighter plug as an output, 2 600 watt 120 volt AC outputs, 3 USB Type A's that do 5 volts at 2.5 amps, and a 100 watt USB-C, so you can do fast charging on that. According to their spec sheet, you can do up to 9 watts simultaneously, and you can charge a whole bunch of things. And you can get 24 charges on a Nintendo Switch. You can charge a drone. It'll operate a TV for about 10 hours. A car fridge, like the one we just talked about, can run about 10 hours on that. You can pick this up for $299 over at Amazon, actually over at Woot. You can check that out over there. And a couple of other things. If you're picking up this Energizer pack, you need some batteries. So no better way to power your Energizer lamp than with Duracell batteries. You can. There's 2 different options to buy this. You can do the subscription where you can pick how often you want these. It's a pack of 28 AA batteries. You can choose the time period. So every 2 months, 3, 6 months. You can do that for $12.63 or just a one-time purchase, which comes down to $47 a battery for $13.29. A pretty good price. You're saving about 40%. These are normally $24 for a pack of this. 28 of Duracell AA batteries over at Amazon. You can check that out. And finally, if you are looking to upgrade a computer that has an NVMe slot, you can go ahead and check out this Intel 660p Pro. It's an M.2 1 terabyte PCIe NVMe 3.0 1 terabyte solid state drive. So if you've got a computer that's got an M.2 slot and you're looking to get some more storage, or maybe a laptop that's got a spare M.2 slot, you can throw this in there. They have 3 different varieties available: 512 gig, 1 terabyte, and 2 terabytes. You can get this for $69.99. Save $15 on that over at Newegg. And that's specials.
I just bought one of those keyboards and I had a $10 Amazon gift card, so I got it for $25. So
damn you! Now I'm gonna have to go buy one.
I know
it's man. This is just so good of a deal.
There's one less on the market. Y'all better be quick because they're gonna go.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's so cheap, because this is I watched some reviews on this last night when I was doing specials, and this is like the creme de la creme of keyboards for this price. And again, it is the number one best. It was the number one bestseller on Amazon prior to this sale.
Wow.
So everybody seems to love this thing.
The only downside I saw is that it doesn't have a USB port on it. My keyboard has some in the back, which can be really nice, but it's not backlit on the keys. So that gets really frustrating sometimes because I live in a cave. So
yeah. So yeah, it does not have, like, mine's got one where I have my mouse plugged into it. That doesn't. So buyer beware. And also they've got a gaming mouse. EVGA gaming mouse that's also on sale. This is the lowest price. I've got this. God, what's this plugin that shows you the low prices on Amazon?
I use what's it called? Kepa.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah. This is the lowest. They've been tracking this keyboard for 515 days. So since March of 2020, February of 2021, this is the lowest price it has ever been sold for. There you go. Check it out.
I'm gonna have to check out those mices.
Mices.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it has to do with. I mean, it's Amazon Prime Day is about to be upon us, right?
Yeah, it hasn't started yet though.
Yeah, so there are those sales that start a bit before. Maybe this is just one.
This is not, because that's the first thing I looked at. Because Prime Day starts on Tuesday. It runs July the 12th and 13th. And they've already got some of their Amazon products on sale. Like their, by the way, and I know, Gal, close your ears. The Amazon switches, which I know. But the plugs, the Amazon plugs, they're on sale right now for like $10 a plug. Which, if you are an Amazon ecosystem, is a pretty good price. So yeah, check out Prime Day. That starts on Tuesday.
Those are Wi-Fi, right?
They are, correct.
Yeah. If only they would sell Zigbee, because their Echoes, their new Echoes are Zigbee controllers. If those were, sorry about the noise.
Somebody landing on the water?
No, but it was a water plane. It just went above us.
Zigbee.
Where were we? So if they sell Zigbee controllers, if only they would have made those switches Zigbee, it would have been perfect.
Well, I bet you their next generation will, because these things have been out. These are one of the first devices that Amazon came out with when they started bolstering up their ecosystem for A-Word. And these things, I don't believe there's been a second generation of these plugs. I wouldn't be surprised, Gal, if they did.
Yeah, I mean, if that would be the case, no brainer, right?
Yeah,
it's like Philips Hue. You can buy their stuff with their controller, or you can buy their stuff and just hook it up to any Zigbee controller that will accept it. So, and their products are terrific. So, if you have an Amazon-backed product that does open communication locally, why, right? Don't think twice. But with the Wi-Fi, yeah, I would. Unless you are invested in the Amazon ecosystem and you don't see yourself ever leaving them, yeah, go with it.
Yeah, and they're also on sale around Christmas time too. I think I've got about, Amnon, how many of these do we have? About a dozen?
Yeah, I mean, well, there were good deals when we bought them.
Yeah.
They were $4.95.
Best Buy was selling them for $5 a switch, up to $5
What
during Christmas
what's a
last
switch?
year.
It's a wall plug that you can control over Wi-Fi, and obviously you can hook it up to anything that can automate that.
A smart plug thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart plug.
Yeah, my mom just texted me, and she says she wants help with the Microsoft professional package. She wants to jump on that.
She wants help.
Yeah, to buy it and install it. So I was like, she should talk to you. You've done it.
I mean,
This is what these plugs look like. These are the Amazon plugs.
Okay.
They do have a standard. They do have a button on the side. They're just regular 3-pole switches.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of them that I'm not using as you can see right now.
And they fit well together on the same.
They do.
Board, right. So, that's important.
Yeah, I've got during Christmas or whatever, I put all 3 of these in service for all my different lights. But I use them in the living room, bedroom, office here. They're great. Love Amazon, my favorite company in the world. Thank God for Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, I mean, Katie, you don't turn lights off and on with what's her name?
Alexa.
Oh,
No.
we're not supposed to say.
Oh, we're not supposed to. Well,
The A word. The A word.
You. That's called entrapment.
Yeah, that is entrapment. I agree with that.
Yeah. No, I don't. Again, like I said,
That's what actually makes it turn on and off.
I literally just live in a cave. I just sit at my desk and I have a little desk lamp and I just turn it on and that's it.
And then playing VR. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So let's go back. We were going to talk about
Internet Archive.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I think I read it yesterday. Internet Archive are being sued by 2 very large publishing houses.
Yeah, for the books.
Of books. One of the things Internet Archive does, they buy or get donated books, physical books. They digitize them and they lend them. They operate as a legal library in the U.S. And so you can lend content digitally from libraries, and Internet Archive is one of those. And it has been a service that they provided to the public
for years,
for a while. And every couple of years, some publishing house has a problem with it.
Yeah.
And every time they need to go out and they need to defend this right, not only their right, but the general right of libraries to, in a very legal way, right, lend content digitally. And I gotta say, every time something like this comes up, it pisses me off, and I'm sure it pisses a lot of people off. And it's like the old world not accepting the new reality, and instead of working with Internet Archive and making this like a thriving marketplace of sorts, they try to shoot it in the head every single time,
And they
it's
always
so
fail.
infuriating.
And they always fail.
Up until now. Look, up until now, but hell, you don't know what the next judge is
Yeah,
gonna
that's true.
do,
True.
right? So, I mean,
This comes down to
nobody-
something that we've talked about a lot, Gal, is, when you've got these, and this isn't highly technical, but there is some level of technical expertise to it. You get yourself in front of a judge that is just beyond clueless about how any of this stuff works, and they're liable to rule that this is piracy and theft, and the whole thing crumbles. I mean, that's the scary part about a lot of this legislation and things that we talk about, is you've got very technically illiterate people that could potentially be ruling or being decision makers on these things, and that's terrifying, because you wouldn't rule that a library's infringing on copyright.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. That's why the case is so critical, right? The publishing houses, they will try to frame it that this is an Internet Archive thing, that they are pirates and they should be shut down. The ruling, however, and that's what the Internet Archive's position is, if you're going to shut us down, you're going to shut out, you're going to allow shutting down every library that lends things digitally. And I think that's the end goal of the publishing houses, because they never make money out of libraries. Libraries is a regulated, right, protected entity that is just a pain in the butt for them, because they can't make money out of it. Not really. They can maybe sell at an upcharge to a library, right, saying, hey, you're going to lend this and all that, but they can't really make more money once the library starts lending it. So this is a very important case. It's not the first time that this very important case, which is part of the problem, I think. Every time such a case comes up, it's for a news media, for a news outlet, is, oh, this is again the same old story, right? And so it doesn't get the news cycles it needs to get. It isn't important. However, if eventually they find a judge who will rule against, trust me, it's going to be a huge media thing, right? So it's very important to talk about it, very important to be educated about it. One thing I can say, the legal strategy that Internet Archive has taken up until today is exactly not to fall in that trap of maybe we're going to fall on somebody who is not educated. The trial is all about educating whoever is going to make the decision about the intricacies of the law and the protection and the status and the technical solutions, so they can make an informed decision. I'm sure that the publishing houses, all they want to do is rush it through the court, right, and just say, they're the bad guys, they need to go down. But every time I see something like that, it infuriates me. These are not pirates. The Internet Archive is an amazing establishment, and up until now, there is no second to it. Not really. If you do not know what the Internet Archive is, I highly recommend read about it in Wikipedia. Go to the website, read about their history. Check out a TED Talk from probably 15 years ago about it, where they describe how they came up with the idea and how they started it. It is an amazing establishment, and it just needs everyone's support all the time.
Yep.
And it should remain. I mean, one of the greatest thing is, when you think about it, it seems like this should be a government entity in a way, right? But I think the best thing about it that it is not part of the government. It is completely on its own. I just wish the government will create some protections for it, which are highly regulated. That's all.
Doesn't the Library of Congress do the same thing? Don't they digitally scan in books?
Yeah, but they don't. It's not like they offer you access to it afterwards. You need to in order to gain access to something in the Library of Congress, you need to pass a lot of hoops. Here, all you need is to have access to the site, and you can get you can loan a copy. It is time limited. It is DRM protected. They're not pirating in any way, so they're doing it like completely legit, completely within the rules. They're not even bending the rules in any way. They're doing it as a public service out of complete the worldview that things need to be preserved, and nobody's doing the work, so we'll do it.
So they're doing sounds like old books, not new books, because a lot of new books are digital, or they have digital copies.
They're doing any book that they can get their hands on. So the fact that it's digital doesn't mean that you and I can go there and download them, but we can get access through a DRM protected reader and loan it. So if they have enough physical copies that they get purchase or get donated, then we can get access and read it and loan it from their library. So that's the thing. It's loaning. It's not owning. It's not. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are people out there that might have figured out how to bypass that DRM, or they take snapshots of the screen they're reading from. But then again, I can go to the library, loan the book, and photocopy it, right?
Yeah.
It's not, there's always that outlet. But that should never be the reason of not allowing a library to exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the moment you are a library lender, you loan from a library, right? You no longer need to make a physical copy for yourself, right? It's no longer important to you because you have access to the library. So maybe I'll need to wait a week or a month to get the book, but I'll still have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
If it was that important to me, I'll go to the bookstore, I'll buy it. But it's like the importance of a library is
and let's
so
and,
enormous.
and let's not forget that that's not the only thing that they do.
Exactly.
They archive anything digital. People send their pictures over there. They take snapshots of websites from early. I mean, a lot of people that don't know Internet Archive, it's the Wayback Machine.
Mm.
Yeah. They do a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's a librarian up in Massachusetts, and she was telling me that the digital book, when they lend out books, is super expensive for the library because when they get a digital copy of a book, they actually don't buy the book. They buy the rights to access the book for a certain amount of time. So they're basically like renting out the books to loan out to people. And so it was like this really expensive, because that's what blew my mind, because I'm thinking like, oh, well, just like you buy a physical book, okay, you own that book now, like you don't have to give it back to the publisher. But that's not the case with the digital copies when it comes to libraries. It's like they buy they rent it for a certain amount of period, and then they can loan it out. Because I was asking her about something, I was like, well, this book was on here and now it's not there anymore. Like, why can't I rent this out? Don't they own a digital copy? And they're like, oh, their subscription probably ran out. So now I can see why the companies are going so hard after this, because they make a ton of money off of digital copies of library books.
Right. And here there's a company that is circumventing them by doing everything legally, but not by the rule they set.
Yeah.
So it is reverse piracy. They are pirating of the libraries by marking up the prices of digital copies just by making them digital. And here is this lone fighter of freedom, right, in quotes, who is digitizing the content on their own, and that's probably what pisses them off. I really wish a federal judge will not rule that against that. But I mean, until the ruling comes out, we never know what the answers will be, right? So
Yeah. All right. Here is some other thing, another piece of information about the VR.
Oh, okay. I'm scared.
A recent media release from market research firm IDC predicts that Meta, the parent company of Facebook, may not be able to compete in the mixed reality business in the long run if its strategy remains unchanged. The media release offers a bird's eye view of the virtual reality hardware marketplace. In the release, IDC research manager said that while Meta continues to pour dollars into developing the metaverse, the company's strategy of promoting low-cost hardware at the expense of profitability isn't sustainable in the long run.
Who is this article from?
IDC, that's IDC.
This is the most.
I don't know.
I mean, Facebook invested $10 billion into freaking VR last year.
Yeah, but that's what they were.
I don't know if there's a. I don't believe there's another company that's doing the work that. And let's be clear here. We're not. We are not some big Facebook lovers and apologists.
Right.
I just don't know of another company that has gone this far with what they've done. Samsung's tried it. Katie mentioned HoloLens. Microsoft's made their half-assed attempt at it. Everybody's done these half-assed attempts, HTC, everybody. Meta is the only one right now that seems to have any sort of actual long-term, any sort of longevity with it at all.
So why are you surprised, Nick? Come on. This is an analyst company, right? Who's probably not in Meta's pocket, but in some of the competitors' pocket.
Good God.
Possibly.
I mean, will it pay off? Who knows? I mean, that's the $1 million question. But to say that if there's somebody to throw rocks and stones at, it sure as hell isn't Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done more for VR than I'd make the argument anybody else does.
Now, wait a second. The gist of the story is the strategy of promoting low-cost hardware at the expense of profitability isn't sustainable. I don't know how much money
I disagree with that. Microsoft and Sony have been doing that with video game consoles for 25 years. They don't make money on the Xbox or the PlayStation. They make it on the games and everything else associated with it.
Well, I'm trying to wrap my head around that statement. So are they saying that VR is so expensive that Facebook is putting too much money? They're losing too much money on it and they're not going to get it back?
That's what they're saying.
They're subsidizing the cost of the headset so much, which they probably are, and trying to make it up on the back end on games and products.
But here's the thing though. You're dealing with something that's very, what's the word, niche, and very customized, like very specific. And what Facebook is doing and what companies are doing by making things cheaper is they're making it more accessible to the general population. Like if you're trying to sell something to an individual, if you come at them with something that's over $500, generally, it doesn't matter what it is, like people aren't going to generally pay for that. And so you need to make it more accessible. You need to make it cheaper. You need to make it easier to understand. And like, of course, but that's the whole setup. Like that's the whole development cost when you start with this new business or new idea, is that these companies have to pour tons and tons of dollars into R&D to make it accessible to the masses. So what's their alternative? Is to
not necessarily. If you take a look at how Apple and how Tesla have marketed themselves, right? They've started by marketing as expert and very
expensive,
very expensive equipment that later became very, very popular. So what I'm guessing is the analyst is saying Facebook might have marketed themselves a bit too low for their own good going forward. And I mean, it might be the case, but then again,
It might not.
the difference between Apple is it's tied to a subscription. It's tied not a subscription, but it's tied to an account, a marketplace, and without that marketplace, the headset can't really survive.
Yeah.
But hold on,
saying-
Gal.
Yeah. Oh no. Sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say this. Apple right now
Yes.
is doing what you say, but in the early days of the iPhone, AT&T and actually at the time it was only AT&T were subsidizing those phones. They were $199
Yes.
as long as you got a 2-year contract with it.
Yeah.
They were
but
not the
that's still-
luxury.
That's still the case.
Well, I to Nick's point, I want to say that Apple did exactly what the Oculus is doing, because the only reason I have an iPhone is because I spent $100 to get an iPhone 4 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and now I'm stuck in their ecosystem, and now this phone that this 12 that I bought was $1,200. So I don't think that Apple or Tesla are accessible to the general public. Tesla is still like, their car still is 50,000 plus. Like, I can't go out and just buy a Tesla.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand, you know, maybe the car is worth $100,000 and they've made it cheaper, but it's to like outreach to the masses, like they have to bring down costs, and then
And that's
and then
what
they
you've
raise
seen,
it.
and that's what you've seen GM and a lot of these other companies do. I mean, the Chevy has got their the Chevy Volt is like 27 grand. The Kia or the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is a really sleek looking SUV, starts at like $35,000. It's it's still expensive, but it's not unobtainable if you want to get a car payment, which you shouldn't, but if you do, it's relatively affordable. I just don't know. I don't know the whole premise of this. Maybe you're right, Kyle. Maybe this is just some pissed off analyst that's not getting the Boku bucks from Meta.
Yeah, that's exactly what it smells like. I mean, remember, whatever analysts say, depending on their clout, is they shift stock market, right? They affect the stock market, because the moment an analyst says, "I'm expecting the stock to be at this and this price at this and this time," right? If that isn't the case, then everything plummets, everything goes up. It's the way analysts affect the market right now. There's nothing legit about the way they look at it. It's a marketing tool more than anything else. So that's why it feels like he's just in the different pocket. It doesn't seem to be reflecting the data. It doesn't seem to be reflecting the status right now.
Okay.
I'm no analyst,
All right.
right?
Yeah.
But this is the opinion I have whenever I see such one-sided analysis of the marketplace.
I agree.
He's not. There wasn't anything that is.
It's easy.
Weighing-
It's nobody
weighing
can.
the differences, right? In
Right.
the marketplace. Just, they are going to fail. The moment you hear something like that, I know it's a sham.
He's
That's
got a crystal ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Katie. Virtual reality,
Mhm.
augmented reality. How many different R's
This is what
are
I say.
there?
I go VR, AR, XR, MR, anything that ends in R. That's basically reality, virtual reality stuff. So this is how I explain the difference, and this is my own definition. I am no expert. Virtual reality, VR, means everything around you is not real. Like, it's all fake. It's all augmented, or I don't want to say augmented. It's all 3D stuff. AR, augmented reality, is like Pokemon Go, if you ever played that, where you have your phone, you lift your phone, and a 3D object appears in your camera or in your world. And it can be the same with headsets, and like this is like with the HoloLens or like glasses, and it doesn't encase you in like an actual TV screen. And the 3D object or the virtual object appears in your environment. So the software can scan what's in front of you. If you have a desk in front of you, the 3D object will interact with the desk. So if you drop something, if you virtually drop something on the desk, it will land on the desk and be there, and we'll go through it or whatever. XR, extended reality, and this is my definition, is all of the above. It's just an umbrella term to mean you're interacting with something, either virtually, augmented, whatever, but it's that interactability. Like, you don't just have a PlayStation controller. You're not passive. A lot of this VR, XR stuff is you as the user are engaged, like actually physically engaged with what's going on. And yeah, it's, through these controllers, but you have them in your hand and you're physically moving them in the space, and the program is reacting accordingly. So you're actively engaging in the thing. And then mixed reality, I think it's the same thing as like extended reality. It's an umbrella term. So that's the difference. VR, AR. My definition of what the difference.
All right,
are.
that's good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Yeah.
Much like the Microsoft or Quest people are like, just on right, you're done, everything's right, blah, blah, blah. How dare you?
All right. Prime. Amazon Prime subscribers in the US are getting a new benefit as part of their subscription. The company has announced today they'll be able to redeem a free year of Grubhub Plus.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
The monthly subscription service that offers free food delivery on orders over $12 from participating restaurants.
But you still have to
Plus,
tip.
what?
So you still have to tip.
I guess.
Unless you're a scumbag.
But you have to, I mean, if you
That's the truth.
if you subscribe to Grubhub Plus, it's $9.90. It's $10 a month, so it's $120 a year, which pays for your Prime, but only
so
for 1 year.
You're not paying the delivery cost, but you're still paying the tip. That's
Yes.
actually a pretty good deal. You might.
Yeah.
So is that like Amazon or like Twitch Prime, where you just go and redeem it and there's no cost? It seems like everybody should redeem it.
There's
even
no
if they
cost.
Don't use
That's, I guess if you go to your Prime account, you should be able to see it.
Oh, well, that's pretty neat. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna go start ordering some Grubhub. What do you guys want for lunch? On Bezos.
On basis. And those of you that travel a lot, Marriott had a breach a few years ago. They had it again. Hackers claiming they have stolen 20 gigabytes of sensitive data, including guest credit card information. So,
unbelievable.
If you were in Marriott, if you stayed at Marriott, this happened in June. So, do your math, and if you were staying at a Marriott, you probably need to look into it if they didn't let you know.
Is the breach already in Have I Been Pawned?
It's not mentioning it, but it was in June, so I would, well,
I mean, based on current regulation, I think you would get an email from Marriott. But yeah, definitely check into it.
Yeah, just be aware that happened. Yeah. Yep. All right, it's that time of day. That was a full show.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you. All right. Gail, you have another week there?
No,
another 2 weeks.
Back.
Huh?
Sunday I'll be back. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gone for 2 weeks. You just
yeah. I mean, we came here
That's right. It
Friday,
was last. Yeah.
And we're heading back Friday. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Enjoy. Don't you do that again with Rogers, though.
Yeah. Every time I come, they crash. Last time I was here was January, I think, and there was a huge snowstorm. And that day, it was the day where they were supposed to, or it was the day before we were supposed to leave, and that entire day, internet was
Mhm.
completely down in the neighborhood we were in. But this time it was nationwide.
Gal, it sounds like you're in a toxic relationship. You need to break up.
Yeah, I agree. It's not me, it's them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's never you. All right. Well, again, thanks, Katie. Thanks, Gal, Nick.
Oh, you're welcome.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna. Katie's here. Dina, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And remember, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM in Wilmington for his daily news show. And you can listen through your Echo device. Just tell it to play 980 The Wave. Or you can go for the recordings after the fact at nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast on Twitch. Gaming, survival gaming. So 7 p.m., twitch.tv/Infection podcast. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.